All right, we will call this monthly business meeting on September 9th, 2025 to order. Would anyone like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so public comment, this item is the appropriate place to make comments about an item that is not on the agenda, but within the board's jurisdiction. Each action item on the agenda has its own public comment period. In order to protect individual rights of privacy, avoid comments that identify students or staff members. Additionally, public comment cannot be used to make comments regarding contested cases, grievances, or legal proceedings. Individuals with these sort of complaints should follow the Uniform Complaint Policy Protocol, which is policy 1700. Due to open meeting laws, the board cannot respond in any way to comments made during the public comment period. Which means if anyone asks us a question, we cannot answer. We had one time. So everyone gets it. Is there any public comment? Are there any revisions to the agenda?
Darcy just mentioned, this is where she wasn't here last week, or last time we had to do a revision to the agenda, but it was about to read it.
We have to do that a little different. Can't just rewrite.
Oh,
You
okay.
talked about because we can't vote on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that isn't a revision to the agenda then.
No,
Okay,
revision
then
of
we don't have any
agenda would
revisions.
strictly be for the order of item. Or
Okay.
topic thing.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any public correspondence which can go through you? So then we'll do approval of minutes. So we have 2 meetings or 2 months that we need to approve. So we'll start with the August
We have to divide the.
into each one. So we'll do
you got-
August as well.
I make a motion that we divide the issue because we cannot approve these minutes, given that 5 people missed. And so the way that a dividing of the issue works is that I propose we divide it August and July into 2 separate issues. That is now a motion, so that has to be seconded and then voted on.
Okay,
I'll second your motion to divide the minutes.
so a motion has been made by Shannon and seconded by Darcy to separate the minutes. All those in favor? Okay, so now we
Now we vote on each, yeah.
individual. Is that, how are you, Lucy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Okay. So the approval of minutes, we will start with the August 2025 minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
My concern is that trustee listed twice on members present for the August minutes.
Correct.
It's just,
Okay.
does that make sense? It says members present,
Were you
Chair
replaced?
Pittman.
I must have been.
I mean, she carries big presents. So. But was there only 4 of us here?
I think so.
So we just need to amend the minutes to delete the second trustee.
Yep.
And then I would vote to approve with that amendment. Or I would make a motion to approve with that amendment. Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct. So there's a motion made by Quincy. Okay, seconded by Rainey. All the 4 people in favor?
Very good.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay. That's,
Does that make sense, Lisa?
it does.
With the amendment that we
This
got.
has all this special places.
I know, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And
We might.
I need to know who abstained right now, who so that who abstained.
Because they weren't there.
Clark, Hanson,
Showing you the. They were there.
Abstained.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
No.
Okay.
Very
July 2025 minutes. Is there a motion?
make a motion that we approve them as presented.
I would just say that I am listed twice as both present and absent.
All right, well, which
How
were
were
you?
you? Sorry about that. I believe I was absent. You were. Sorry,
So
that's why we didn't vote on this on the last time.
move that
because-
we. I move that we approve them as amended.
Okay, so. Motion made by Shannon,
I'll second.
seconded by Jerry, all those who are in favor. All those who oh, so these.
We were not present.
All those who have stayed.
Mhm. Benefit Clark.
That's
Sorry, public, it's not even this bad.
It's got really good.
August approval.
The board members are. Apparently.
Okay, sorry. Note to self.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lucy.
My God. Something.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay, so we are moving on to G. And then we have a new student trustee report, and I'm hoping perhaps Mr. Brown could do an introduction. Wonderful. Fill us in.
So as we were making the transition last spring, you had a chance to meet Carmela for the first time. And then the summer happened and life happens and cheerleading happens and she's coming from we have lots of activities going on tonight. So appreciate you making the time here, Carmela. So this is Carmela Forcone, and Carmela is a junior at Whitefish High School. So we're looking at potential 2-year term, which is nice to be able to, spend that amount of time together. So, Carmela, this is your show.
Alright,
Anyway, here,
that's perfect. Yeah.
start with the high school, or, you prefer me to start with the elementary school?
However however you like.
However you wanna do it,
Totally fine.
it's your show.
So, the Whitefish High School freshmen started off with an introduction from members of Student Outreach Committee, beginning of the school year, for parent tour in the few days before school, and then followed with a more in-depth tour on the first day of school, also presented by the students of Student Outreach Committee. We took the first day to do a fun scavenger hunt, getting students familiar with their classes, as well as classroom etiquette, lunchroom rules, dress code, and school events, etc. Speaking of school events, student council members have also been organizing numerous events such as the homecoming dance, the bonfire, football game themes, pep rally, and the homecoming annual video. Fall sports are also in action. Soccer had a win against St. Paul's last Thursday, where the student body joined together in the school song. This year, the student body as a whole has shown amazing spirit, showing up to games, dressed in theme, and supporting our fall athletes throughout the beginning of the season. I'd also like to take this time to talk about the amazing academic programs we have at the high school regarding all the APs that we've accumulated, but also mentioning the educational and internship organized by Miss Baxter, and she'll go more into depth about that. It's just an amazing program for students to have the opportunity to intern for things that they're interested in as a career. So that's what's been happening currently, but future is just as bright for the Bulldogs. Seniors are being prepared for their graduation ceremony already. They're soon going to be meeting in the black box to go over rentals for caps and gowns. Professional Development Day is happening the week after homecoming, where teachers are discussing things such as AI education and how to use it accordingly and safely. Clubs are starting up as well. Free Flow has their first meeting on Thursday. Student Outreach Committee and Student Council have been up and running. Careers Club had their first inaugural meeting, or is having their first inaugural meeting on Monday. And clubs like CSA, GSA, Twisty Puzzles Club are also being showcased in the club walk that's happening next Monday. And then we have a report from Vivian Treeweiler from the middle school. Great start to the school year. The first day was great. 5th, 6th grade received the WMS Expectations Tour, 3 stations in different areas of the school, as well as 7th and 8th grade assembly. The goal for these first day assemblies was to set every student up for a successful school year. The second week of school saw our first set of testing school-wide. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade all worked on the fall iReady assessments. The 5th and 6th graders have been enjoying intramurals during the second week of school. Lots of participation with our intramural coordinator, Miss Snipes. Whitefish Middle School activities have started again with a healthy number of participants, all three sports, cross country, volleyball, football, and they have had lots of participation, over 200 student athletes.
Wow.
Our seventh grade science students are gearing up for a field trip to Glacier Park towards the end of September. And it's a wonderful experience for the students, especially with one of the best ecosystems to study in our backyard. And this is a report from Lavena, who's the Moldown ambassador. Moldown has been oozing with excitement as we welcome back our old moles to say hey to our new incoming kindergartners and early intervention folks. New enrollments are still trickling in, but it looks as though we are going to end up with about 630 to 640 students once the dust settles. We have some new staff members in Moldown. We have 3 new paraeducators, a new 4th grade special ed teacher, a new music teacher, a new HE teacher, crossing guard, and playground personnel. They have all been welcome additions to an already amazing staff. The students and staff have been so productive right off the bat. Students are already digging into their iReady fall diagnostic, and the bells will soon follow. They are not letting any grass grow under their feet. Our early intervention class is near capacity, and are all learning what it takes to be successful in school. Some of the teachers are piloting some new math curriculum in an effort to gather data to help us eventually make a decision for our future instruction. CKLA Language Arts is in its 2nd year, and teachers are becoming more comfortable with this implementation. Students love the content and the stories that are a part of this program. The ELA scores from last year not only show the impact of a good curriculum, but also the power of quality, positive instruction. The biggest challenge that has been faced this year is the adoption of a new schedule. Creating an elementary schedule that accommodates all our students and staff is very difficult. Changes were made that took them out of their comfort zone. The beauty of having a staff and students like we do, however, is that although the change has been challenging, all have been up to the challenge and are making it work. Success like this truly speaks to the value of teamwork and commitment to a common good. All in all, it has been a great start of a new school year, and it's only looking up from here.
Good. Thank you. All right, thanks, Carol. Yeah, really good. Are there any questions?
No, welcome.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you. Thanks for coming from.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So, you have somebody from the middle school that gives you information and then somebody from Moldown that gives you.
Yes.
Great.
For student council, there's the Moldown ambassador and then the middle school ambassador, and then school board rep, I take care of the high school, and then we all like come together and
It's great.
yeah.
There's delegation.
and we all know you're busy, so if you don't need to stay for the whole meeting, if you do.
I do have till 6:30.
Oh, right, well then usually you just hang out for a little bit then.
You got 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
I also have to leave this. That's fine. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll move on to the WEA update.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Carmel, Mr. Webinar, so proud of you for taking on this really daunting role, adding it to your plate, but that was really good. Glad you're here. Just wanna welcome everybody, didn't make it to those meetings, you had to split up to approve there, so I just took a little bit of a break, July and August. But I'm back. And I won't take too much of your time because I'm excited to hear some of the agenda items this evening, but I just want to share a bit here that all of our teachers are really excited to be back and see each other. Really excited to see our students. Everybody's handling the combination of starting a school year during tourist season and how does the smoke roll in. All that stuff happening at once with a lot of grace and patience and a lot of leaning on each other when it gets to be too much. So I think we're a really tight knit group of teachers in each of our buildings and across the district, which I think is a real gift. Some of what we're up to this fall, Dave and I are working on refining some of the language in our WSD committee document. Doing that both based on the language that's in our existing CBAs and on the recommendations of Genevieve Thomas, Darlene Schottel, feedback from surveys and all those pieces, and really all the recommendations for best practice moving forward and making sure that it can be really clear to our teachers. How do you get involved? What do you do when you are involved? What do you do when you need to communicate? And we really are taking on a pretty big initiative of teaching our teachers their contracts. So we're doing that together. I keep making suggestions like just call it Article 17A. They'll have to find it, but probably add a little bit more guidance. Won't be a quiz or anything. So, but really the focus is how do we connect all the gears that already exist in our systems, so that we can just move through this more smoothly as we have some enrollment bubbles and some expansion happening. So if you know, I think our teachers' faces are a little and eyes are a little more clear now that the smoke is cleared and into our first typical week out of some testing and moving into some content and just some routine. So yeah, and I think that's kind of all I have. So unless anybody has any questions, there'll just be more as we move forward.
I was just wondering, this is going back, I feel like a while, but I didn't come to like the welcome back breakfast that I had. I was just wondering how the speaker was.
I was great.
Yeah, good.
Don't.
No, I'm not.
I said I was great. I was joking.
He wasn't great. And I'm like,
No, he was really nice. Paul, I talked to him at the end. He was great and he signed a book. So I would recommend
Okay.
reading his book.
Awesome.
I think it's Fostering Resilient Learners. But one of the things he shared, that first slide, was teacher clarity. And so this kind of what Dave and I are working on together should hopefully help with teacher clarity.
Awesome. So, oh, that's really good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. That's really great to hear, because I think it's so important to have speakers come in and have like just somebody else talk or a different viewpoint, and get sick of hearing the same old people say things. So I think it's so great. So I'm glad it was well received, and
Yeah, he was really good.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Welcome back. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Is there a WCEA? So we'll move on to our discussion and action items. WHS work-based learning highlight the things that we.
Read to the term of criticism. I kind of did a better introduction. Our student trustee kind of helped me with it. So thank you for doing that. A couple of years ago, we hired a new staff member at Whitefish High School, and she has taken our work-based learning program and really run with it. Previously, it was really the work-based learning happened out of the regenerative ag department with Mark Kazaz. Carrie Baxter has taken it to a whole new level, and she's going to share a little bit about what she's done with you in the last 2 years. I know that in your board packet, you have all of the community businesses that have participated in this fall. For you to look at that, I'm sure she'll share with you a number of things. So, Carrie.
Thanks.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today. Good to see you all. So my name is Carrie Baxter. I'm a new teacher at the high school. I was a sub for about 4 years and then teach hospitality, tourism, work-based learning, and broadcast journalism this year. So learning all kinds of stuff. It's been really fun. So work-based learning, it provides hands-on experience and in a real-world business setting through mentoring, workplace simulation, classroom support, and then high-level accountability. And I like to say it's our opportunity for our students to try on the careers that they think they might want to pursue post-high school. In last spring, we launched the first work-based learning cohort that I was a part of with 22 students, all juniors and seniors. A few of those career pathways that they were interested in included physical therapy, crime scene investigation, being a private pilot, music production, real estate, wildlife photography, and interior design, among many others. This fall, we have 24 students in the work-based learning, so we've grown by a couple. across the community, and some of those new pathways include Logan Health, NICU, HVAC, barbershop and Whitefish, veterinarian clinics, construction and project management, and then hospitality management placed up at the Whitefish Mountain Resort. The words that I heard the most when interviewing for this position were structure and accountability. Those came into play quite a bit. And so we've really focused on those two words when developing the program. And so here's how it works. If a student is initially interested in work-based learning, they either talk to a fellow teacher, a counselor, or myself, and we have a Google form that's an application. They go online, they fill that out, and it asks questions. What's your favorite class? What hobbies do you have? What are some of your career interests? What are some of your soft skills that you really enjoy? Just trying to get a little bit of information about them. From there, I set up an interview with that student. We sit down and we brainstorm some ideas or some career paths that they may already be looking into or may be interested in. From there, once they're approved, I send over an email to our counseling department and they get placed on the following semester's schedule for work-based learning. So it's not just a free-for-all where everybody gets placed in here. There's a lot of forefront that goes into it. The goal is to have every student placed with a couple of weeks left of the previous semester. So when we start, there's a path for them. Once the semester begins, again, we're focusing on just keeping everything structured and accountability. So they spend a couple of weeks with me in the classroom. And what we're doing during that time is professionalism training, just a little polish before we send everybody out into the community. We're writing professional introduction emails to their mentor businesses, asking specific questions so that they're prepared when they show up that first day on the job. What do I wear? Where do I park? What should I bring? They're polishing up their resumes. They're studying that place of business and that industry so that they can speak to it and know where they're going. They are practicing introducing themselves. Coming in as a new intern can be a little intimidating. And so we practice. What are people going to say to you and what's your response going to be to them? We talk about first impressions, again, about no cell phones, about dressing professionally, being punctual, what happens if you're ever not able to attend or you're running a little bit late. And then most importantly, they create learning objectives. So these students think they might want to go into to being a veterinarian. So they would create specific goals into that field that they're really interested in learning more about. And that helps guide their time with their mentor business. So those get shared with their mentor. We kind of check back every couple of weeks to make sure that we're making progress towards learning those goals. Then they sign contracts, the students, the parents, the mentor businesses, and we also have a driver liability form. We've got everything now into our insurance, which is great. So it's all nice and buttoned up before we send the students out. They spend 2 to 3 hours a week, or I'd say about 3 hours a week with their mentors. And then each Friday they type up a recap that comes to me on Google Classroom. And I do ask, did you show up every time? Which one of your learning objectives did you work towards? What's something you learned? What's something that you loved? And then get comments from there. We bookend the experience. So they're getting the professionalism training at the beginning of the semester. They're with their mentor. And then at the end of the semester, they're putting all of the information together into a presentation. And that is kind of their portfolio. So that gets presented. We had it, the presentations were a couple weeks before graduation in the spring. It was in the Black Box Theater. We invited mentors. We invited their families, other students that were interested in the program, teachers, and then all of those 22 students got to hear from different careers. So they're not just learning about their own, they're, hearing about other things that are going on in the community. And those presentations were really great. Chef Sanders made cookies. It was just a great celebration of the semester. And I'm really looking forward to that again this year. I'd love to have you guys join. A few wins of the program. We now are partnered with Logan Health. There's a lot of paperwork that goes into that, and so grateful for the district for making it happen. I know that Lucy and Dave and Carrie and everyone kind of had a big part in that. So that's exciting. And we're able to plug. We have 3 students at Logan this semester, and I think 4 happening next semester. So there's a lot of great experience there. I'm now doing bi-weekly calls with Reach Higher Montana, who offers the work-based learning co-op for the state. I went and spent a couple of days with them in Helena over the summer, and it was just really great to hear what other schools are doing across Montana and to get to idea share with them. We have 41, aside from the 24, we have 41 educational internship students as well who are mentoring with fellow teachers here in the district. And that many students are interested in education, even slightly, is really exciting. So they're doing a little bit of this, kind of the same check-in, but maybe at a different level. And then just a couple of student wins. One of the seniors last year that was placed at Glacier Jet Center that was interested in being a private pilot was hired on for a 3-year apprenticeship. So he's now well on his way, and that's really exciting. Another one tried out physical therapy and loved some things about it, but not all. And so did a little pivot and is now with Quincy. And we were able to, sometimes it's just as powerful to say, I liked that, but it wasn't for me. I'd rather them do that now. And so she was able to pivot and now gets to work with you, which is great. And then my daughter was in an internship, so I just want to speak from a parent's perspective as a senior last year in interior design, and she loved it so much that she's moving to Thailand in a couple weeks to go study design around the world. So I've got to see that from a parent perspective of how much it can open their eyes, and it's just a really great program. I feel like every connection, every time, it's like putting a puzzle piece together, and it's really helping shape our students' future. So. And then I left you a list of the community partners. This is forever growing and changing. And it's fun just to see new people coming on all the time. And I have a whole list of backups of people that just said, I'd love to host somebody. We just haven't had the right student to fill that spot yet. So that's the community partners so far. That's all I've got. What questions do you guys have?
I did so did they get a credit of some kind through that, like, I guess, I'm sorry, you probably said that. What does it count as?
Yeah, it counts as a CTE credit.
CTE,
so yeah,
okay.
so they do get credit for doing an internship.
Okay, so like you mentioned, the student that I have had one last time, so is there a limit on the number of times you could use this as a credit? Like, I'm just curious how that works.
I would probably say that's a great question. They don't start the program until they're juniors.
Okay.
So I guess it would be a case by case situation. At that point, if they're taking elective credits anyway, I think it's great, and we can just
Makes
naturally
sense.
place them with other businesses.
Got it.
But this is that's the first instance we've had.
It's because I'm way cooler than I had.
And he's a mentor to a couple students as well. So really grateful for that.
And now it's gonna spike it. I'm trying to.
Just see it. It's
This is amazing. It's so exciting.
Really
Very exciting. It's a lot of work, though, I have to say. I can tell, just having been on the other side, I can speak it. So thank you for all you're doing. That's a
Thank you.
lot of humans to keep track of, and a lot
Yeah.
of businesses to maintain those contacts with,
Yeah.
so. It's nice to know that there's accountability, though, because as the person who's offering it, just to the community that might be listening. I am also working, so I can't also hold up the educational end of I can't have you be accountable. It's nice to know on the school side, you guys are so professional about it, that
Yeah.
makes it an easier yes when people ask, so. Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's definitely, there's a lot of hesitation. I was thinking it would be a little bit of an easier, it kind of puts, I maybe said this, but it feels like you're putting puzzle pieces together. So every time I'm able to find the right match, it's so exciting. But there's a lot of no's. There's probably just as many no's as there have been yeses. So yeah, we're getting there. And I hope word of mouth continues to let other
Yeah.
businesses know that
And
it's
your
doable.
quality of professionalism helps sell it forward, because we lots of people get asked for a lot of things, and sometimes it's more work than you think it's going to be, so it just makes it nice sharing of the load, so. Thanks on behalf of the district, it shows, so.
So does a kid, like, cause we're in the block schedule, so if they have it like fifth period, do they just go like on Tuesdays and Thursdays for like that block?
Exactly.
So it's like just a couple hours,
Mhm.
like 4 hours a week or 3 hours a week.
And we've tried to make it, Darcy, where the students are all 7 periods, so there's different people at different times. And I think our goal for the next couple of years is to streamline that a little bit, so they're kind of more chunked at the end of the day, or time where there's more flexibility. But for those students that think they might want to work longer, then we've tried to bud it up to flex for the end of the day, so that they could stay for that extended period of time without missing out on another class.
Awesome, great. Thank you. Thanks so much, that's a great job.
Questions. I liked. Yeah, very cool. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Next one, we'll move on to action, which is policy 3141 update with.
Thank you. We're gonna use our new agenda system where we have a split screen here, and for those who are at home. Click on those agendas. I clicked on the revised document there. Just want to mention that our policy committee has met recently. We reviewed this update to policy 3141. I know we recently brought this to your attention, and this is an update for your consideration. The update provides for consideration of out-of-district enrollment of students with the district early intervention program at each board meeting if space is available. This program has the potential to have more move in and out or fluctuate in enrollment more frequently, and therefore we saw the need to make sure that we have the ability to fill this program. Soon after we had our previous meeting, we had some openings. We felt like it's important for us to ensure that we're filling this program to its capacity. It has a total of 10 enrollment capacity. So we want to ensure that that's a possibility. This policy would allow us to do that on a monthly basis only for this program. All other programs would follow the due dates that are outlined in the school policy. Any questions for myself or any policy committee members?
Seems like a good catch.
Especially that's really.
Is there any public comments on that food board for further discussion and or a motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, that is moved by Katie and seconded by Darcy, all in favor? Yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to the letter C, which is our WHS expansion update with.
Everybody. This is the September update to the Whitefish High School expansion projects. Same format as the previous updates. So the first thing kicking off with the budget is the only change here is the spent to date. And the current spend is $967,941. Which is 2.4% of the project. And again, just a lot of design, front end engineering, survey, geotech type components, which is right on track. No major changes, so nothing major to report there. Jumping right in, this GCCM contract status has not started yet, so that's all TBD. Nothing has changed there. But jumping into milestones. This is all the same also. I do expect there's a lot going on in the background with coordination and phasing and things like that. So I do expect some minor changes in the next update. Just some shifting of months here and there for the academic and athletic starts. All the finishes are still tracking the same. But just a lot going on in those arenas right now. But currently those are all tracking on schedule and no issues from a design perspective. Speaking of design, jumping into the bulleted items for key updates this month. Full steam ahead with A&E design. Things are going really well. They just completed the 50% DD set of drawings, which DD stands for design development. It's the second phase of 3 in the design process. The SDs we started with, those are complete, and we're right in the middle of DDs, and then it moves on to the CDs, construction set. And so we are tracking 100% DDs on the academic side, October 1st, and on the athletic side, October 22nd. So that is all on track and moving right ahead. Things are looking really well, or looking really good. We'll see some visuals here in a second that are the same visuals, because a lot of what's happening right now is on the interior and detail work. So a lot of the nitty gritty is going on in the background. The next round of construction cost estimating is going to occur after that 100% DD set is complete, which is tracking for that early October on the academic side and mid-October on the athletic side. So there'll be a couple weeks lag between each one of those to see the cost estimate, which will be mid-October on the academic side and late October on the athletic side. So things are tracking there. That'll be a nice update to get a check in on the cost side of things. Item number 3, this is, there are a lot of community events that are tracking for the week of September 22nd, coming up here in a couple weeks. So we've listed the main ones there. These bulleted items are open house events, sporting events, community update events. There are also a handful of design meetings that are occurring that week at the high school, with specific teachers and what we call room data meetings to get some more detail and input from teachers, as well as some of the committees for the athletic and academic side. So I won't go into each one of those in detail, but the times and dates are listed there, and I think a full announcement is going out on all that too. So I would encourage everybody to attend. The big design update will be at that community update event, which is listed as Wednesday, September 24th at the high school from 5:30 to 6:30. So A&E will dive deep into the design and answer any questions that anybody has. But those will all be really good events. At each of the other ones, there'll be a booth with time for asking questions and looking at visuals and things like that. So those will be really great that week coming up. Item number 4 here, which is the last key update this month. We are in the process of implementing an online construction management platform for managing the budget and the schedule, documents, a lot of the communication and collaboration for the whole design team. So that's right at the tail end of being implemented, and as soon as that's ready, everyone here will have access to that on the board, and you'll be able to see all the budget side of things and everything related to the project. So that's really exciting. The visual this month, again, the first one we have here is the exterior renderings. Nothing is different than what you've seen already. It's just all in one spot here, giving the key update of what we're tracking for that exterior perspective from those rendering shots. And those will most likely stay very similar unless there are changes from a VE perspective or anything like that. So they'll just be developed a little bit further. And then the final image is just a snapshot of that online platform that we are intending to use, and that's being implemented right now with populating the budget data and things like that. So once that is implemented, some of this framework might change a little bit from a reporting perspective, but it'll have the same information, and I expect that to probably happen next month. So that is the September update. Do you guys have any questions?
I do, just to clarify item number 3, the community outreach staff. So is A&E, is that who's giving? That's who's gonna be there, right?
They'll be
Sure.
presenting at the main community update meeting, which is that Wednesday. The other ones will be staffed by the district, myself, Annie will be there at those as well, to answer any questions. It'll just be more of a Q&A type setup with visuals. They'll have board presentations at each one of those, but there'll be more of a ad hoc type questions that come up, things like that. The full presentation will be at that community update on Wednesday.
I feel like I haven't seen you forever. I think I haven't been here forever. I don't know. It's fun meeting, but it's like for a long time. And I don't know if this is I know at one point when we like look at the renderings, that place to, I guess it would be the west of the library upstairs that's open. Did we talk about closing that off, or is that only money allowed?
Well,
Is that?
correct. Yep.
It's not showing that it's closed. I just didn't know for what.
You're correct. At one point it was enclosed. That
Okay.
was the first early set of SDs. Since then, just cost exercises that has remained open at this
Okay.
point. It's something that's still being looked at, and as cost information comes back,
Possibility if there's some.
possibly, or a bit alternate possibly, but right now tracking for a cost perspective to not have that.
Okay, perfect. That's kind of what I was guessing, but I was just.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I just had another question, sorry. It's just, some of the feedback I have had is that this is really great to reach out to the high school community as much, but the reality is by the time this is done, a lot of the students, and it's great to get their feedback, and I love that, first of all. That's great that you're meeting with all the teachers and getting all the players input, is that it's like middle school, and those are also the people who voted for this moment a lot, or people who have 4th graders right now. So just wondering if there would be an opportunity, I don't know if it's a like bowling night or whatever, to also incorporate, and maybe that's in the works already.
That's a great point.
Reach out to middle school and pull down kids.
Yeah, it's a good
and
point.
Parents, specifically parents.
Yes, very much so. And I like that idea. I don't think anything is currently planned, but I think it's a good idea to probably target something that hits that demographic a little bit better. So that, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more and get something on the book.
They're just hope this passes the one as
Yeah,
well.
makes sense.
So if there's an opportunity, that's all I put out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we did anticipate possibly trying to have some renderings available, but we didn't have them ready. So,
Yeah.
but that's a good point. We could have
Yeah.
had a little. We did have one at the back to school batch.
Yeah.
Where we had information,
Yep.
feedback for anybody who attended that, so that was a broader out there. We did the farm at the, and stuff in the summer.
Mhm.
At the farmers markets, and well, stop by waiting for that, but you're right, maybe there's some other opportunities.
I think it just needs to be consistently constant, you know, which is exhausting, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes, yeah.
Right, with updates, and we'll have visuals here or at the high school as well, just out for display, so as things progress too with updates, so maybe
Yeah.
that's an opportunity to just have something out as well, just to show
Totally,
people
like
as
in
they.
the log, in
Right.
whatever,
Right.
that seems, and as parent teacher conferences, just walking
Displays there
through,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
If that's possible,
Yeah,
again, I'm
totally.
not in charge of their buildings, I'm just saying that as someone who, this is gonna be where my kid would go, you know,
Right.
when
Yeah.
they're sixth grader. or whatever.
I think it's a great idea.
That's a great point. I just see that, well, maybe someone from the pilot will, listen.
There's that option too.
Any other questions for me? Maria, thank you.
Cool, yeah, thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Okay, D, which is a PLC representative and WSB committee update.
I'm back. Last spring, if you recall, we had some work done. We had some surveys. We had some work done with Genevieve Thomas and Darlene Shuttle, and out of that came some direction for us, and particularly on clarity of some of our teacher roles and some of our teacher committees. So in your packet, you will see first what we call the PLC representative roles and responsibilities. In the past, it was just the PLC liaison. We changed that word intentionally to PLC representative. They are representing all of their colleagues in a number of ways. And so we really structured that role and those responsibilities into quite an in-depth document that you have before you. This is still a work in progress. It's early in the school year, so the principals are still conversing with their staff about who in their content or grade level is going to take on this responsibility. One of the differences that you will notice is the PLC representative and Genevieve Thomas. This was a recommendation of Genevieve Thomas. Will also participate in the MTSS committee. So that's a real change from what we've done in the past. But we feel really good about this. So we're excited to see how this is going to play out this year. The other document that I wanted to share with you is a description of our Whitefish School District committees. This too speaks to that whole issue of clarity for teachers. What committees do we have in the district? What purpose do they serve? How are you on this committee? How does it work? What issues are we addressing in the Whitefish School District? So we hope with both of these documents that it will be clear and transparent to our staff, and it will allow for better communication, better channels of communication between staff and administrators, better channels of communication between each other. And we also hope that staff understand the pathways by which they can use to solve problems if should any occur. Questions you have? Yeah, Shannon.
On the role and responsibilities, is this envisioned as one of the people in this does all of these? Or is it envisioned
Yes.
as responsibilities of the members.
Well, it is the PLC representative's role to do these responsibilities.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Just because the PLC one does mention it, so clearly the compensation record keeping, like attendance. 12 hours flexible PIR has been satisfied with the curriculum pay will be provided.
Yep.
And then on the other document that has all the other description of committees, is it? I'm just not in this world, so is it just known amongst teachers what I get paid for, what counts as going toward, you know what I mean? Like, because if someone's on MTSS and the PLC liaison, they're potentially getting paid / time versus if you're on another committee, is that not necessarily the case? I'm just curious how that works out.
Yes.
I don't- just
So
educate me.
most of the PLC representative role, they do some work outside of their contract time, which is where you see that compensation. Most of the committees occur, we try very hard to get committees to occur during school time. Like the MTSS one will only meet 4 times a year. We will try to do that during school. So it is not happening outside of school. A number of committees, if they do meet outside of school, for example, let's say the district PD committee, we do offer PIR to those teachers because part of their contract is that they have to have 12 flexible PIR. If that is satisfied, then we'll provide them curriculum pay.
Gotcha. Thanks for clarifying.
You bet.
So if your committee meets during school, you don't get compensated?
No, because you're already being compensated in your contract. You're working.
But you still have the classroom work that you missing right to that's tricky. It's tricky. But it's like,
Yeah, that's been a standard approach, yeah, that anything that beyond competent, like. Potentially for something like this, if they're preparing something like that, would like stipend.
Okay.
The key difference here is this is pretty unusual because most of those are stipended positions, you know, we have stipended positions that are part of the collective bargaining agreement, this is not one of those.
okay.
This is a position where we're asking people to do something beyond, and that is develop the agenda, be prepared for those meetings, bring data to the meeting, things like that. So it's above and beyond what would typically be done, but it's not yet a stipend position. Could be, it could be something that's brought up, collective bargaining agreement, considered to be added at the stipend position.
So when these happen, like, is it usually like sub-release time a lot of times, or is it not like during lunch hour?
Oh no, we cannot have meetings during lunch hour with a.
Right, so it's
sacred time.
Yeah, that's what I thought, there is like sub-release.
Absolutely sacred time.
So, yeah, so it's a cost to the district
To get some.
to get a sub,
Yeah.
to allow.
And they're out of the classroom.
And they're out of the classroom, I mean, it's definitely there's a lot of ways, but yeah, it's interesting,
Yeah.
so there's.
You could just pay them to stay later potentially and not stipend. How that works, that's bargaining.
I know it's not really a committee, but I was just curious because we've been talking about, hiring, like when I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's no hiring committee, like that was my thought, but then I was like, I guess it depends on the position.
It does.
And, so, but for example, if somebody wanted to, when like we're hiring and the invitation goes out.
Mhm.
Is there anything that's just a volunteer because people want to be part of that process?
It is a volunteer.
Okay, and that's okay, I was just wondering.
Yep,
how-
the hiring committee is a volunteer process.
Okay,
For example, you're all aware of the HR position that we had. We said we really wanted representatives from every building. And if we had more than one representative, we'd throw your name in a hat and we'd choose. So.
very scientific.
We didn't have many,
Statistics.
we didn't have many people we had to throw in a hat.
There was great representation there.
There was, we had we did have
Volunteers, there was
representation from
something
every
that's
building,
fine. Okay,
yes, we did.
Great.
And from both certified and
Yeah.
pairs, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, but historically, Darcy, as far back as I can remember, and I've been in the district over 30 years. It has been a volunteer position.
Okay, that's
To
great.
be
To me, I was like, oh, I
hired.
don't think it can be a committee,
Yeah.
because you never know, it couldn't always be. the same
Yes.
people.
It kind of just depends on the position.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, and I'm just curious,
Mhm.
so as far as paid, not paid, just
Yeah.
like, I'm just trying to think if I was a teacher, and
Yeah.
like, what would the motivation be to be on the committee? Is, does it play into evals at all, like, is it part of a career ladder of any kind?
It
or
is
anything
not.
like that? Okay.
See, no, it's not. We have talked, I believe the principals have talked with staff this year about, sometimes we have people that are real go-getters and they're on multiple committees. And then we have people that aren't on any committees. So we're mindful of that and trying to really spread the wealth so that we get a good representation of staff on committees instead of the same, which is, I mean, I'm not
Right.
saying that that's bad, but when we have the same people on multiple committees, sometimes we don't hear all of the perhaps opinions and concerns and issues that we might need to hear. So we have encouraged people to really choose committee and allow other people.
I think it's great how it tells kind of the time commitment, because isn't that one of the scariest things when you're like, yeah, I'll be on that committee, and they're like, did you know it meets every week?
Yeah.
Did you meet multiple times a week? You're like, I don't want to be on this committee anymore, I changed my mind. So I think it's great that you also put in the kind of requirement to give people an idea of what they're signing up for. So, yeah, nice.
Are these representatives, maybe I missed it, are they appointed or volunteers?
They're all volunteers.
All volunteers.
Yeah,
And are all
don't
of your,
appoint any of them.
and every team has one?
Yes.
Wow.
That is the person that these roles and responsibilities that they're accountable for, or is it building?
It depends on the committee, Shannon. I am responsible for the PLC representatives.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So-
Yes, yes, so they report to me, and if I don't get their agendas, believe me, I reach out to them and say, hey, didn't get your agenda and your summary, because the process for the PLC representatives is they create an agenda and then they meet monthly or weekly, excuse me. So the first Wednesday of the month is staff meetings, and we have committed to every other Wednesday in a month is for the PLC teams. We will not infringe upon the PLC time for any reason. So the PLC representative creates that agenda, and then afterwards they send me a summary of what happened during their PLC meeting. If I don't get that summary, I will reach out to them and say, hey, I didn't get that summary. I will also read through every summary, and typically I will say something back to like, wow, what you're doing is awesome. Or if I have a question about something, and I ask that too. The PLC representatives also send a copy of that to the principals. And if I have a question about something, or if I am concerned about something, I will reach out to the principals and say, hey, did you get a chance to read the PLC notes from this grade level or this department? Would you like to reach out to them, or would you like me to reach out to them? There seems like there's an issue there. So there's a lot of background on my part for that. But the other committees, I am not in charge of, except for the district PD.
Are there any other questions?
Thanks for helping explain this.
Yeah, the committee document's awesome.
It has been, I feel like this has been a year, for me, this has been a year of really diving into a number of, not really PD or assessment or curriculum, but it's in that other realm, but it's things like mentors. I revamped that whole mentor handbook. This PLC representative, I really revamp that, this district of committees, Dave and I really worked on revamping that. In order to provide more clarity for staff in the district, really, that's the whole goal of it.
Well, and I really appreciate it. If we are paying people
Mhm.
to do a role, the PLCs and the mentors, then they should have very clear cut goals and know exactly where they're going. And when we started the programs, we've evolved as they've evolved, and now it's time that we know for sure what they're doing to earn their money. And you and I have talked about that, and so I really appreciate this, and I also appreciate the trying to spread. I would hope that every teacher would be on some committee. Because you're right, there are some teachers who burn themselves out because they will go on every committee, but you're also getting one point of view. You're not getting multiple points of view. So I appreciate this, and I appreciate the push to get people more involved.
Any other questions? Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, moving on to E, which is out of district student attendance. So Mr. B.
So. Okay, so our first agenda here, out of district attendance, administration recommends approval of the out of district application for the following students for the 25-26 school year. This represents students in early literacy, 1st, 8th, and 9th grade.
That's very many room in ninth grade. Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's such a big class.
Any clarifying questions? Is there any public comment? Back to the board for further discussion or emotion.
I would be approved as presented.
Second. Okay, it's moved by Darcy and seconded by Rainey. All those in favor? Yes.
Actually got rid of
Okay. Moving on to F, out of district student attendance with Mr. Means.
So, for your consideration, the administration recommends denial of the out of district enrollment application for the following student for 25-26 school year, because adding another student would exceed 87% of the accreditation cap at specific grade level, as referenced in Whitefish strategic plan. This is referencing 6th grade.
Are there any clarifying questions? Any public comments on this item? Back to the board for further discussion or emotion.
I would move that we approve the denial of this application.
I'll second it.
All right, that is, the motion was made by Shannon and seconded by Jerry. All in favor? Okay. Moving on to G, with Mr. Means, out of district student attendance.
Okay. For your consideration now in following the approval of the update to policy 3141. The following application is recommended for represents as early literacy.
Any clarifying questions? Any public comments? Back to the board for a motion or further discussion.
I move we accept this out of district student.
Second. Moved by Jerry, seconded by Quincy, all in favor? Great. Moving on to H with personnel recommendation for hire with Mr. Means.
With this new agenda.
It's really weird.
Really.
No, I don't like it. You know,
Or number.
Yeah, it's probably, but it's like 100 pages long.
Do you want?
Look at-
Does it look okay to have it side by side like
Yes,
that?
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
That's weird.
So, okay, so you can see there the recommendation for higher list, and applicants include recommendations for different positions, special education paraeducator, playground supervisor, assistant basketball coach, and food service. Questions?
there any public comments on this item? Back to the board for a motion or further discussion.
I don't really know if this is where to throw this question is, but during our board retreat, Deborah, so we talked about adding, like, we could know experience, or there were other pieces of the puzzle that we could be informed about. I don't know whether we want to talk about that or decide how we want to proceed with that information, so it's under hiring. What's trustee announcement? Other more?
We certainly talk about it another time, of course, but I didn't know if there was consensus regarding adding those specific components, but we certainly could, and we can talk about it again.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think it would need to appear as an agenda.
Agenda item, yeah, I think it'd be great to have that discussion. Yes, okay, thank you.
I was just impressed that there was 5 applicants for playground supervisor.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Well, Mr. Point.
Yeah, 7 for basketball.
That's amazing.
Yes, thank you.
7 for the basketball.
And you should be impressed that Margie Thompson has done lots of subbing and was the janitor in Modown for 25 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, she's making. She's so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a motion?
So I'll move we approve as
Okay.
presented.
I second.
Okay, moved by Darcy and seconded by Quincy, all in favor? Is everybody? All right. We are moving into reports and the first ever administrative report. Mr. Brandsetter, I believe.
We're like, ooh.
It's not gonna be as good as the student report. But it will go along the lines of the student report. Carmela did a great job of presenting the information that she was given from each school. And just wanted to expand on those first days of school from each building. Talking about expectations to set up the students for a successful year. Each school has their own unique way of opening school, homeroom work with mold down, fun activities to emphasize, be safe, be kind, to get that right. Okay. Be safe, be kind, and work hard. At the high school, inviting just the freshmen for the first half of the day, setting up that whole system so that they are the most important people, getting their grit, integrity, scholarship, compassion, respect, all universals woven with grit throughout. And then the middle school, WMS is more than just Whitefish Middle School. It's work hard, make good choices, showing kindness and respect. And Carmela talked about the expectations tour that we gave at the middle school, where 5th and 6th grade, we had smaller versions where 2 classes came to the 3 different stations, and they got some intense, but very important and pertinent information to set them up for the rest of the school day. They were first in the morning. They got some WMS, working hard, making good choices, showing kindness and respect, universals. We say that every single day in our announcements, so it's ingrained in their heads. But we had a cafeteria station, a playground station, and then one in the pack, just kind of going over those. What do we expect here at the middle school, especially for that 5th grade crew coming over new, review for 6th grade, and then a big assembly for our 7th and 8th grade, talking about, those expectations and what does it take to be successful as the big dogs of the school, and now the 7th graders coming up from the elementary levels, because we have these 2 different schools. It was just a great first day. Mr. Jones and I were talking about might be one of the better first days that the 2 of us have had. Remember, his first year was COVID. And then kind of building on that, just this year has felt really good to start the school year. All those universals are connected to those right behind you, with 2 of them especially improving academically, and most importantly, safe and inclusive, welcoming schools. Focusing on those with the students early, it allows for students to start learning right away, including that first day of school. So just wanted to give a report and an update on that first day, a little bit more in depth than the student report. But thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah, I have the hot seat. Didn't ask you anything. I have nothing. It's exciting to know.
Thank you for being the inaugural
Yeah.
administrator, giving the spiel. It's
Yeah.
great to have you guys I don't wanna compliment y'all and all three of you are riding fast. Josh, this isn't a Whitefish one, but I.
It is, it's Whitefish Lake Golf Course. It matches, you know, the-
They coordinated, they did coordinate.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving into trustee announcements. Okay. School visits. I think the plan is for October, as we've done in the past. But then the question is, do we all want to go to every school? How, I guess I'm open to what people would like to do. What anyone's thoughts are.
But you do not have time to go to all these schools.
Okay,
How much time is involved in school visit?
It's a couple hours.
Depends on how much time you want to give.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking, cause this year we talked about having the admin lead us around, right, so it'll probably be shorter, I
It'll
think
be
like
faster.
30, like 45 minutes for an hour.
my guess.
Yeah, especially having, cause in the past, sometimes we've wandered around on
Yeah,
our own, so it could,
Right.
sometimes you would get sidetracked, or it could take a very long time, or you're like, oh, I really wanna
I think
go.
an hour.
You're laughing, but I would think an hour,
I think limiting it to an hour.
yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
I'd like to do all three, just.
Yeah, okay.
I think
would
having the
too.
option for all of us to do all three, and then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think
Yeah.
that is a nice, and that's sort of what we've done in years past, like,
yes.
because of work
I have
schedules.
time.
If it works for
Yeah, so if you wanna sign up for all three,
Okay.
would someone be willing to do that spreadsheet?
Volunteering, Darcy?
You are really good at it. You're very
Yeah.
good. So you you two have Wednesdays off. You have Fridays off. Okay. So I just wanna make sure, I try to like make sure that those.
So Darcy will make a spreadsheet with some sign up times, and we'll kind of start with what days work for people, and then we'll try and consolidate it, so. We only,
And so, yeah, in the past, I made a spreadsheet with some times, and it's like 3 trustees, so I can only be 3 trustees at a time, because sometimes we have a quorum,
Right.
so. Then I send it to the admin, to the principals, and make sure those times they don't have any major conflicts, and then they give me the thumbs up, and then I send it out to the trustees. And you can put your name in. But I try to always make sure there's opportunities for staff or trustees who have full-time jobs that work, to make sure there's some flexibility in there, so they can try to
thank you.
get in there and.
Do one Saturday.
Okay, perfect, yeah.
And then, and it'll probably be easier, because in the past, we've tried to get everybody. And so if this year we are just, we could set times, and if you can,
Yeah.
we could try and consolidate it more.
And I think as a rule, I mean, just to speak, as I am very flexible in the time of day within that day, so whatever works best for the admin's normal, like. Routine, like out of respect for, we are asking for, we like that presence. So yes, I think this is an inaugural, and I think as a group, if we can just agree that this is our first time trying it this way back again after a little bit, so if it's a little bumpy, let's just all be honest and have feedback, and then we can always tweak it, we don't have to get stuck. And if it's not helpful or working.
Okay, so you will send.
I will work on that, yes.
Yeah, that was safe.
Thanks, Darcy. Yeah, you're
We're volunteer.
I know. I can volunteer, here you go, bullet. So.
Was not
volunteer.
Then the next thing is discussing our work session, we talked about our format of work sessions and how we want them to be more supportive of the business meeting. So getting information in a work session that supports what's going to be presented at a business meeting. And what I also heard is that K-12 Connects really, maybe we forego them this year and try it without. Was that a general, did everyone feel or that way? Okay. And so then the example, Dave and I were just talking about, so the example would be in September, if we go over the data review from our testing. That will support the presentation of the action plan updates for the business meeting, the next business meeting. Right. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. And so then I think if we have questions, just thinking about the work session being a data presentation and then potentially seeing what the action plan update and having questions for that, and it might make the work session, it's not as long, I don't, pretty long, okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So the one thing I know that the K-12 Connects is like to try to get community input, but one of the things I believe teachers usually got like a PIR credit for that. sometime.
Yes.
And so if we wanted staff to come, if we really thought that their input would be valuable during a work session, so fun to take home connect, but it'd still be possible to be like, we want staff to be able to offer. Our credit if we felt like having staff at a particular work session was an important.
Like provide an incentive for staff participation.
There's a workshop topic.
If there's a topic we want, like, let's say we like really start diving into attendance, I know that there's gonna be a committee, but let's just throw that one out there and be like, but we really wanna hear from staff. Could we still throw an incentive out there without it being under the Cable Connect umbrella?
We can, Darcy, it's just, I'm bound by the state to, in order to provide PIR, it has to happen in a 2-hour chunk of time, or like 1 hour and 45 minutes, or do you see what I'm saying?
Right,
I can't give PIR in chunks less than 2 hours.
Oh, it has to be 2 hours.
Or more.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, so it has to be 2 hours. Okay, perfect, that's good. I was, so it's like 6 to 8.
Yep.
Okay.
Could it be 1 hour at September meeting and an hour at the October, the same topic, or? Strictly in the same, I think.
That's probably right. Yeah, show up.
Because they figure.
Okay,
You're not
perfect.
gonna think
It's just something that,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't like.
Yeah.
Giving them
Taking
an
away an
opportunity, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think one other thing, Ray, David, and I chatted about this in our 2-on-1 as well, is that since we're talking about the format of the work sessions and the efficiency and the contributions of all, and that my input would be that I have enjoyed, this is just my opinion, so take it with what you will. I've enjoyed the work sessions that we've had when we all sit in the big cube and we are staggered with how we sit versus like the little groups of 4 tables. I feel like they're more efficient because then everyone, there's a lot of mutual ideas going on, like we don't need to repeat ourselves, like I think that's all, that's just my opinion. I'd be open to other people's opinions, but that wasn't,
Yeah.
that was yeah,
That's it.
it's just efficient.
But that was just, so making sure I heard, we got just that we're all on the same
On the
page
same
of those
page.
things, okay.
Yeah.
So that's all mine. Okay,
No, I would just say one thing. I was at the opening breakfast and the speaker was great. And he was very funny and he had a lot of good comments, but one of his main messages was the kids will probably not remember what you taught them, but they will remember how you made them feel. Which we all know as teachers, but is probably the most important thing. And that was one of his big messages, which I thought was perfect. So,
very aligned to our goals too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and he was a very good speaker. He was lively and he didn't sit still. He moved around that crowd. I can't believe. And he had lots of good messages. So that was it was a good workshop.
Okay, we'll move on to C. More, sorry.
Yeah, more
Oh,
things.
absolutely.
So many more things. Yeah, first of all, I wasn't sure, and I think we talked about this, updating the staff on like we're waiting until HR, till we hire HR to update staff on something 10%. Okay, I also just wanted to just say a huge, I thought was the big rainstorm that happened at the first football game was impressive. And what else was impressive is how the district staff just got all those kids to safety and made sure people were safe and had a place to go. And I just think that that's a huge kudos to everybody who was out there at the game. Luckily, I was watching from underneath my covered deck, so but I was feeling very nervous knowing that the football game was going on and you guys had all that to manage. So I think it was handled really well, and knowing the gym was open for kids who didn't have a ride right away and had a safe place to go was great. As I had a kid who was there without a parent, so I was like, what's my kid gonna do? There was a spot for him to go to, so thank you. I think that's an important acknowledgement of a great way to handle an unexpected event. And then I just wanted to mention our websites, because we got these great new websites, but I don't know if we're utilizing some of the communication as well, but with the activities and like the current events, like upcoming events.
If they could be
I have that-
more,
I have that on my list too, to talk about when, but you were gonna talk about the calendars and your superintendent, like you always
Oh.
have those listed, so I wasn't sure. No, I was gonna say, would you like to talk about those together as a calendar, or would you like us to talk about it? Whatever works for you,
Bring 'em up.
cause I think that's the same,
yeah, it just always feels like there's not,
we haven't talked about this. but-
as a parent, there's like
Yeah.
not the information, I'm like, when is
Exactly.
open house, when is homecoming, or
Yes.
when is the first day of school when school hasn't actually started yet, so.
Yeah.
I would like to see, I don't know, more. Or different information, I don't know if I can,
I think if you open up each of those calendars and they're so important that we put them on our agendas, they're very different.
right,
The district, the high school, the middle school, and the Mole Down, and I understand why, because they're very different schools. But as a parent, especially if you're like transitioning up to a new school, or it would be really nice if there was some consistency for every day there's a day. And I very, like, I vaguely remember having this conversation before about, we have that other calendar. And really trying not to overwhelm this calendar with too much information, right? So trying to tease that out, but truly as a parent, it would be wonderful if there was one place where you could pull it up and you could say. Like you could see if you opened up each calendar, like Labor Day is listed as off, but then. People don't have that September 29th is also off. You know, like at least days off of school, and then high school has homecoming listed, which is awesome, but if you're in elementary school or middle school, you still kind of care about homecoming, or we want you to care about homecoming. To feel part of the district, like, can we maybe have conversations about aligning a little bit of like this, the architecture should have some consistencies between all of the calendars, and then obviously. You don't need the high school volleyball game on the Mole Down calendar per se, but like, great, I think that's what I'm noticing and hoping for as a parent.
Yeah. I think, when we initially developed this, we're following feedback from that initial conversations we had with the new website. We're kind of trying to get that feedback about how we should design it, how we should put things together. And so I think, you know, that was our initial try at it, right? So here we are, this is what we put together. From that, modified a few things based on feedback since then. But maybe it's time to kind of bring a few of us together, look at it, and say, okay, are there ways to adapt this further to effective communication to everybody? We purposefully like kept up, if you can see on the right hand side, it says WSD school year calendar. That's the school year calendar. That's, we purposely wanted to make sure that was separate. That was part of the feedback.
right,
So, you know, some of these things are falling that, then we wanted to create a. On the, what district website, it was gonna be most districts are mostly about, board meetings and upcoming work sessions. And the district websites typically, but you could have like a separate one that then links to something that has more additional information possibly. And then, the high school, for instance, has two different versions. We talked about that when we initially set this up as well, one academic and one activities. But there's some room for growth, of course, so maybe there's, we put together a small group of people that get some feedback and talk about further improve it.
Well,
I like the thoughts that you've shared and look at it all and see if there's better ways to effectively communicate with students, yeah.
like, I just like the call in the high schools, you're right, that you have the school year calendar, but I like on how the high schools, they still say any days, no school. Like, that's helpful.
Yeah,
You know,
so,
and I mean, even though you're right, I could look at another calendar. But it's just, I don't know, yeah, I think it'd
Yeah,
be great
which-
to have a conversation.
which ones have?
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it might be cumbersome, but as a parent, if you had children in all three schools.
Oh, yeah.
It would be very helpful to have one calendar that said, okay, football game, volleyball game, you know, board meeting. In one calendar, and maybe that's too cumbersome, I don't know. But as a parent, if I'm trying to click on the middle school and the high school and what's happening in Lowdown, and a lot of parents, number one, won't do it. But if you're really looking for something, it's a little cumbersome.
Maybe you could create, here's this one.
Master.
This one is the calendar of.
I work with a master calendar, much like that every day of the week. It's simple to do.
Yeah, although
Divide everybody by color and it's
Oh, yeah, they have colors. Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
If you get fancy.
Yeah, that's good topic, I think, and there would have to be a scroll down version on every single one of them, because it'd be a lengthy list, but you could create one academic. Or one complete calendar.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's also be possible to have a link to next year. Because I have people like text me like,
All
when
the
is spring
time.
break next year, or when is the first day of school next year, because they're trying to plan their vacations, and I think the only way that they can find this master calendar, this one, is like by looking through our board docs and happening to know when we approved it. Or is there a place
No,
on the
it's-
website?
It's
that compares?
right on the right hand side.
But is that
For
next
next
year?
year's?
Oh, we don't have next year's yet.
Oh, we didn't approve it yet?
That'll be in
Oh,
January.
For some reason, I thought we
January.
did 2 years at a time. No,
Sometimes.
so we don't know the first day of school next year
No.
yet.
Usually do them in January.
Okay.
So once it's approved though, even if you just had key points that said first day of school.
Yeah, once it's approved, maybe there could be a link on the website.
Of what we've done, that's that they're right next to each
Staggered.
other.
Okay.
One when you have.
Ever did two?
When we have them here.
Yeah. I'm sometime for the civic one.
We just didn't do it this last.
2 years is helpful.
What you're saying.
Basketball tournament.
I just think 2 years is helpful for people when they're planning their lives.
Agreed, especially as we focus on attendance policy, because then people can plan their vacations potentially. If we're trying to support that, right, yeah.
Well, I think
Anyways.
I heard a lot of that feedback. I think I tried to incorporate that, make some adjustments and see how it looks and get some feedback again.
Just totally, the big vacations. I know we have our assessment calendar on the website. But as a parent, you know, like you said, like every kid gets that dreaded packet of paper, this just school year starts. But I wondered if that could be in there for each school or something, so that way maybe parents are a little bit more aware of when the testing windows are. I don't know, maybe it's not worth
Packet of
it, but it
information.
might be, you know, we have the student assessment calendar.
Yeah, I don't think it's complete yet, so I think that's why we're still.
Oh,
working
okay.
on Completing it, so.
Okay.
If it's at the beginning of the school year, like you're talking about, like that packet that goes out.
Yeah.
We did that electronically this year. All electronic, and that's something you'll be seeing some communication from the principals again, this year. Again, remind people to go in and update that, to look at that content. But you're right, that would be a good thing if we had it available. I don't-
Okay, maybe we don't.
Yeah.
So maybe when it is available, that's like its own email.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm really getting you guys off topics, but I appreciate it. Did any other trustee? Okay, moving into C, the superintendent announcements.
But I guess I don't need to go to the calendar, right? But,
Go right ahead.
but it is exciting if you think about what we have coming up here. You know, we got soccer, golf, cross country, volleyball, homecoming starts on the 22nd. We got the expansion things that have been talked about too. So we've got a lot going on. Things are coming up on the week of homecoming as well. So, the community update will be the Wednesday of that homecoming week, so that's an important date. So that's when we'll put out the information and invite as many people as we can come to that event. On Wednesday, so. All right, I'm gonna go back to our.
Okay, I'm throwing off that calendar.
Right,
That's what they took, like,
it did.
So many screens open, I'm sorry.
Oh, there it is. There.
Uh,
Okay, got it. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so, and then enrollment, that calendar, you can see that information, I mean, sorry. We are up compared to last year by a little bit overall in our district. Some highest numbers in the high school that we've seen ever, 680 students. At one point we were similar, but you know, that was a long time ago. So we're seeing some high numbers overall on our schools throughout, especially at the middle school and high school. And that trend continues that we've seen in the past year. So we're seeing enrollment increases in middle school and high school, not just kids moving up through the grades, but people moving in and enrolling in those grades. We do see some coming and going. This time of year is really hard to get super accurate numbers. We have kids who are unenrolling and kids who are enrolled. So you can see a lot of that in some of the information shared there, but overall, we're up compared to last year at this time. And then, I wanted to bring up information about MSEL conferences on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. You are interested. It's in Hellman, which usually is in Billings or Missoula, so Helena's not a bad place to go in the middle here. So if you're interested in attending it, it's a great conference. And I sent some information with links out to you if you're interested in attending. Just let Amy know. By the way, she's reserved some rooms in case people are interested. And then the Pacific, or it's actually the Northwest Institute on Special Education and the Law. It's on 10/27 through 29. I believe it's like in Seattle.
That'll be probably exactly.
I think so. They used to switch it between Portland and Seattle, but I think it's in Bellevue. So if you're interested in that, it's a great conference. May see another person there. District. But if you're interested, let me know right away and we can get you registered for that.
It is a really, really well done conference, and if you want to understand the law as it pertains to special ed, it's presented in a way that I'm not entirely sure it's the only trustee, but I was one of the few. And in a way that for everybody can, it wasn't just for business officers or just for, a lot of it was about compliance. Really good.
And then the fall work session draft schedule, we talked a little bit about this already. So we have the data review and attendance procedures coming up. And Darlene Shaw will be a part of that work session where she'll share some kind of a proposal from committee to review attendance procedures and what that could look like, get input from all of us administrators, trustees about what that purpose would be, timeline and things like that. So give us a good time to discuss that together as a group on the 23rd, in addition to going over our data review, which will then lead us to our next regular schedule where we need to go over action plans. But the next work session, we're proposing looking at the governance calendar, because that we want to make sure we align that with some of our goals and things that we've talked about recently. And then our superintendent quarterly review as well. And then potentially in November, kind of HR topics, channels of communication. Well, Deborah Silk as well involved in that conversation. So far, Elizabeth, I've been working on kind of drafting that schedule based on a lot of the discussions we've had recently and making sure that they lead up to the next board. Any thoughts on that?
I have a thought that I didn't think of back when you were talking about attendance. I think it might be beneficial, and would it be possible to present enrollment numbers of out of district? So that the enrollment numbers for a given grade includes them that are out of district.
Yeah, I think we can.
Like separately as a different.
Yeah, like is it maybe in parentheses after it, or
Would be interesting to see how many kids we have.
Yeah.
Each grade, in each grade, but yeah, we still wanna see that grade number.
absolutely, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I just like to see if so it's 132 and 10 of them are out of district.
Yeah.
They were presented as them.
Each time, or there was.
I don't think it would be, I mean, I think once you put together is it a problem for you to put together that report
Well,
and then present it each time that you?
I'm trying to think through that, yeah, how difficult that might be, I don't know.
I mean, if it's too difficult, it's not that important, but.
well, but don't you only have 3 times that we're accepting students, so they. But you drop out.
They could drop out.
Oh, they could,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll try to incorporate that into the next one if we can. Or a separate information on it.
I mean, it has to be separate, that's fine.
But I'll try to incorporate it. Sounds good. That's interesting, everybody.
Yeah, but they're presented.
Great. All right. Anything else?
I
Alright.
just wanted to say thank you to you and Elizabeth as well for the work on the calendar and the discussion about work sessions, and I think that's been a lot of work for you guys, so thank you for plowing forward.
Yeah.
Super strategic, too. Yeah, good job. It'll set us up for a smooth year, I'm excited.
And if you think about it, this is just a little bit of the things we talked about, so we have other items and we're just make sure we put them in a place that makes sense and then leads us up to the. Transfers, and we have the special education transferring to the high school. And then we have a list of resignations there you can see as well. On our list today. And there's one more thing I wanted to share, so, because it's just, we've finished this process and just really very recently. I'm pleased to announce that through the interview process and the reference check process is complete. We'll be bringing a recommendation for hire to you at our next special board meeting for the HR director. So, great.
Yay, that's great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That's
And
exciting.
in
As
fact,
a
that's,
committee member, I will say, what a win for the district. I mean, I think so. Yes.
Oh, yes.
She brings really cool background and experience and attitude, I think, for the job, and it will just be a big boon for all of us to get to learn from her. I'm excited for you all. Yeah.
so yeah, we'll see that on the next, regular scheduled board meeting or the special board meeting, that we have coming up.
The one that we have before our work session.
Yeah.
Yes. Great.
Got that rolling, yeah.
Lots. Is that all your?
That's it.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the directive business.
I know.
That's straight. Greetings from the business department. Beginning of the school year is busy at the business department as well. And I know it's hard to believe, but it is so. We have, especially on the payroll end of things, with the turnover that's happening, new hires, and also resignation, and everything that's involved with that. So we've been very busy with that. At the same time, we've been working on annual enrollment in flexible benefit plan. We've been updating our health savings account enrollment and amounts. It's just there's a lot going on, but everything is good and everything. I can't say it's 100% smooth. 90%.
And the books are balanced.
I, as far as I know. Absolutely not. I'll have to ask the auditor in a couple.
So where did that start? When did they get a claim?
Well, I'm actually already working with them. Yes, they already looked and reviewed and audited our enrollment. I don't know the results of it yet, because they look at the whole thing as a whole. And I've been gathering, and actually we all have gathered and submitted all the audit documents that we can, that they're able to look at from their office. And actually the ownership of our current audit firm has just recently changed as of July 1. The longtime partner and owner has retired after 40 years of doing audit work. And the auditor, who some of you may know, John Marr, is actually there. So again, I feel very good about the future developments, because the staff and the team hasn't changed much, even though the leadership did, but they're still very familiar with what we do. So that's going to, I can't tell you how long it's gonna take. I don't know if they'll make any internal changes in how audits are performed. I can't speak to that, but it's already happening. Also, in light of the new school year, I updated our financial report somewhat. Made it a little bit longer. But again, you know, there's no, I thought we need to include some information about those federal and state grants. Because I often get those questions, so I'm like, well, maybe it's finally time to throw it in here and get those pie charts going. Everybody misses those pie charts. Once COVID money was gone, pie charts disappeared.
They're so full.
They're so full of green, is in money, because we didn't spend any money yet.
Yeah.
Again, we have those title grants, we have several different title grants, you can see those names of those title grants are pretty self-explanatory about what the money is used for. Idea is for students with special needs, Carol Perkins is career and technical education, and then we have some small state grants. And then at the very end of the monthly financial report, we have the expenditures budget to actual for general fund. If anybody really wants to dive into those line by line items.
No.
Shannon would like to.
No.
I'll stay after.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, expenses are pretty much what they should be, for this, you know, time of the year. So we can see again if there's anything other than those federal and state grants, if you're ever interested in any other information. And we can also, there's no saying that every month the report has to be exactly the same. If you wanna know a highlight on a specific item, say, hey, would you prepare a highlight for next month on XYZ? We can certainly do that. So just an idea. But it looks please, thank you.
Especially in light of how busy you are.
Yeah.
Shannon has a question.
Just a,
Shannon.
yeah, a real quick question, is it, I know that we get this information earlier from Mr. Hammond, is it possible to include pie graphs for that? Or
For the, yes,
The bond.
that's.
for the bonds?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can do that, just simple percentages
Yeah.
spent
Yeah.
for the
Like-
building.
Like,
or
like,
even
what's
like
left?
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll do that. Starting next month, make myself know. Well, any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I was,
Go ahead.
on the cash recap, there's a June 25 in gray and there's one in yellow. What is the on the top, like the column color one?
It's June and July.
Oh my gosh,
And
I was like, the numbers aren't the same, Lucy, what's happening? It's my eyes that are the problem, never
so
mind,
we
it's fine.
remember what we ended the year with.
Well, that's why I was like, I don't understand why they're not the same.
Yeah.
I
So
just
we
want
remember,
to
you know.
confused right now.
Yeah, what did we, where were we when,
Oh,
as of
gosh, I
Tuesday?
feel like a real idiot,
No, you don't, I mean, it's very similar when you look at, June dash 25, July dash 20. It serves as a reminder to myself as well to know, okay, where did we? And
No, I like having that there, I just couldn't figure out why the numbers weren't the same. But now I know this is a different one. Okay, last question about, the policy that we approved earlier with the little kid literacy program, and I think it relates to money, and I think we talked about it in our policy meeting, but I can't remember rational. So when somebody calls and they want a spot in the early literacy program or the early math. And you're like, there is room, but we have to have it approved by the board, sometimes the board meets like 2 weeks apart, 3 weeks apart, is there any way that the kiddo can start like on a provisionary basis for those weeks before the board meets, or is it no, because we can't get the funding for that kid before that day? Like, is there any way to fast track the kid into the program before we vote on it? Because 3 weeks could be such a long time for a kid.
No, we can't accept an out of district student to the board.
For the little kids in the
For any,
Right.
For any young.
yeah, it's a.
So is it
It's a
fun?
part of that district process. We can't provide medication to someone who's not in our district unless they've been approved by the board.
Right,
Because
which,
they actually could attend their others.
okay, so it is tied to fun time.
Well, I think it's like the law almost, like we can't, it's more of the law than a policy.
Yeah.
Which I guess. It's.
Yeah, not necessarily funding, it's really.
And
just
then
the law.
there's no other way to have a board meeting than to all come together.
We could have, a short meeting before the work session and that.
Can you have a virtual meeting? Like, is there a way to fast track those people who are potentially like, I'm thinking of a 4-year-old who's waiting for like 3 weeks to find out if they go to preschool or. You know,
Well, 2 weeks is typically what we have, we could do it during for a work session.
right,
But
some
the other,
of these months are like 5 weeks long.
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
just
But,
something.
but I think another point is that there's a process too, it's not automatic, if you're out of district either, so you have to apply. Be assessed, determine whether or not students are eligible,
Okay,
and that's a long process, and then so I think if that's time sequentially, you know, in terms of.
okay.
Okay, we're considering this out of district applicant, first we're gonna evaluate whether or not they're eligible.
Okay.
Then determine that, and then it would come before.
Got it.
So there are even steps.
But there's
toward
just
that.
no way to like fast track.
Unless you,
No.
special.
But it kind of sounds like the district is trying to align their research to align with the board meeting, so that way all that stuff is
Got it.
taking place
Got
before,
it.
so there's probably a week or 2 week
Okay.
leg anyway.
No matter what, we're gonna have to do those steps, but if we do our work to align them better. Yeah,
Got it.
We could line it up pretty well.
Okay.
Hey, Jerry, I think another.
Yeah. Lucy, one of your pie charts is for gifted and talented, but it says to be determined, who determines it and when is it determined?
OPI determines that, and it should be determined soon. I don't know.
You don't know, so it's OPI though,
It is
so,
OPI,
which explains a lot.
yes. For example, all the title grants,
Uh-uh.
we only, usually with title and idea grants, we don't know the award amounts, at least the final award amounts until the fall.
Yeah.
So, end of August, beginning of September. So when we budget 6 months ago,
Yeah, you don't know what you get.
I can only estimate those numbers because I don't know what they. Usually they're reducing.
So why is the gifted and talented so much slower? It's just the way OPI does it.
Yeah.
So it makes it very difficult to plan.
You know, Jerry, what they do, they award gifted and talented in 2-year chunks.
Oh.
So whatever we get, it's going to be for 25, 26, and 26 and 27. It's a fairly, it's not a large amount.
It's not, I know.
Yeah, but
I'm aware of that.
yeah.
What's the advanced opportunity grant fund?
The Advanced Opportunity Grant Fund is for other learning opportunities.
Okay.
So with
Lisa.
that.
Please.
That is a great fund. We are very proud of ourselves that we applied for that.
Yes.
This opportunity, that's a large chunk of money, so
Yeah.
it provides support to cover out-of-pocket expenses for students, and it also helps with career and technical ed courses. So we've
Is
been
this
able to
like the
purchase
AP
curriculum,
Right.
helps with that,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, all of those kinds of things.
Okay.
And it works not only, I mean, it across the district, it's not just the high school.
Right.
There's a chunk of it and there's a formula, so much of it has to be spent on certain things.
Okay, nice, thank you.
And Jerry, the gifted and talented, a lot of that money goes towards testing, the COGAT testing, cause it's expensive to test every year. So it does go towards that, and then materials for the
Yeah.
program.
Well, I know it doesn't cover
Mm-mm.
the salary for a person.
No,
No. It never asked.
Isn't some of that when you said that you were, I remember like when you learned about welding, like to take the welding test or for some of the special stuff they needed for the class, it helps pay for that, right? Like,
The advanced opportunity does, yes.
that's what that one does too, right? Yeah.
Transportation.
Transportation to
Oh.
stuff, yeah, remember that,
Mhm.
it was really nice because it was kind of broad and you could make it pretty individualized, right? Yeah.
Mhm. It's helped out some kids from the independent high school. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lucy? Thank you, Lucy.
Thanks, yeah.
Okay, we're moving into the consent agenda. Is there any clarifying questions on the consent? Is there any public comment on the consent agenda? Back to the board for a motion or further discussion.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Oh, second.
All right, moved by Darcy, seconded by Shannon. All in favor? Okay, that's everybody. But one more motion.
I move we adjourn this meeting.
Second. It's moved by Gary and seconded by Quincy, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.